Hey cuties, PeachY here, welcome back to a new video, and today is a sad day. Well, I guess yesterday, but in this week we got news that Mermaze Mermaidz has now been officially cancelled, or I guess discontinued, or dead, abandoned, or at least the trademark has been. So let's talk about the unspoken mermaid fashion doll curse that I think has plagued many doll lines. So let's get into it. So on the official Mermaze Mermaidz Instagram account, you might have noticed that they haven't posted since like last year, November. I believe that was insane. That it's insane that they really have not posted anything on Instagram, anything on YouTube. I haven't checked on YouTube, but I assume that since the last episode, maybe they've posted like a couple of shorts, but I don't think they've been very active on YouTube either. And it's just been they've been very silent. And a lot of us theorized, well, perhaps they're gonna get canceled because a lot of the doll lines that were supposed to come out this year got canceled. They got, or at least delayed at the very, as we only knew at the very start, they got delayed. But now we know the trademark, the actual name for Mermaze Mermaidz has now also been expired, I guess. It's abandoned, as they say here on the actual listing. And that's obviously not good, because that means that basically by default, the actual brand, the Mermaze Mermaidz doll line, is also deceased. It's gone. It's no more. It's far gone. Like, it's wow. So it's been a journey. It just, going from, okay, they're not active on social media, which is weird, but like they could definitely start posting again any second, and now going to the trademark being like expired. So that is pretty extreme. And it's also kind of shocking that MGA hasn't really spoken out about this, perhaps because they don't really know what they're gonna do themselves yet with the Mermaze Mermaidz line. Like, it's definitely questionable, like what's happening. But yeah, so thanks to a doll girly dishes here, we have the actual, like the listing here with the trademark, and it says that expired. So it seems, it's gone. They're gone. So let's take a look here at what we were gonna get this year for dolls of Mermaze Mermaidz and play sets and stuff. That's just not gonna happen anymore, I guess. So we would have gotten the slumber party dolls retailing at $24.99, and we even saw one of them on the packaging for the salon playset, which was probably one of the factors that kind of maybe brought Mermaze Mermaidz down, because it cost $100, as I recall, and it was a big playset, but it was really expensive. The most iconic part was obviously the hydration station looking like device in the middle with, like, you could put water in and it will bubble up with lights. It was really nice, but it was attached to the whole playset, and it's very bulky. Like, if you just wanted it for the like that little feature, like I was tempted to get the playset just for that one bubbling feature, which my actual hydration station for Laguna doesn't work anymore. So it was just very nostalgic, because it was very loud, the actual Monster High hydration station. But this one, it was very much, it wasn't as loud, and it was very, really nice effect with the lights, the bubbling, and you could actually put a doll inside. But anyways, so okay, on the actual packaging, we got to see, I believe, Zuna, one of the 5 slumber party girlies, and the tails, I'm not sure if there was going to be a gimmick for the slumber party dolls. Perhaps the tails would have been like softer, or they would have been flocked or something, because they don't have the winter globe effect, obviously. So I wonder if they would have kept going with like a gimmick for every theme, because that, like, to me, that's like maybe what they would have done. But again, I'm not really sure. Maybe they would, because like series 1, it was like a solid series, but the tails were very hollow, and they changed color, sure, but they didn't have much articulation, and the hair was also not like the best for all the dolls. And so for Winter Waves, they kind of upped their game, more details, more quality, the winter globe effect. And for Slumber Party, I wonder how they would have, kept with the evolving aspect of like how to improve the dolls and the mobility and the articulation. And so would they have had articulation on their like at the bend of their knees, like on the tails, or like what would have been different to maybe make the dolls better? I wonder, because now we're never gonna know. But so yes, Zuna, Monroe, Bryn, Casey, and Kinsley, who we've all seen in the animated series. And then we have the FTF dolls retailing at $34.99. I'm not fashion to fins to fashion. I don't know what the FTF stands for, but we have two dolls here, which are not that we don't have the actual names, but it basically just a description of their themes, probably like a chrome one and a pastel one. So they are more expensive, so I assume they would have had like a gimmick or perhaps like a play feature. Would have been really interesting. And then we have these sirens, cheaper at $16.99. There would have been 3 dolls, Sapphire, Nebula, and Hope. And these would have been like the junior high versions of Mermaze Mermaidz dolls. They would have been smaller, less articulation with the arms, I believe, and the tails looked different. Like they looked like they had maybe like unique aspects to them. So that it's a shame because they did look really cute. And then we have series 2 of the Mermaze Mermaidz dolls, which would have been also $24.99 and included a orange, green, red, and yellow doll. So again, it's really a shame that we're never gonna see these concepts, these ideas come to life anymore because, well, you know, they're gone. So what happened? Why did Mermaze Mermaidz tank so hard? And unless like they had a lifespan of 1 year and 1 month apparently, so really not that long. And I thought they had been around for longer, but really, if you think about it, they only had the core series. Series 1, and then they had Winter Waves, and in between they did have the 2 deluxe dolls with Aura and Mora, obviously the sisters in the animated series. So that leaves us with only 12 dolls, right? So 5 in each series, and then 2 dolls that were deluxe dolls. So yeah, not a lot of dolls if you really think about it. Winter Waves was the last doll line, and I thought they were really good. I thought they had improved with the designs, and the tails at least had an actual gimmick if they weren't going to be able to be, you know, articulated. I really actually loved the Winter Globe theme. That's why I actually have all of them. But they were expensive. I think the main factor is that they were expensive. They cost so much for so little that you actually get, you know, like the quality for the hair for series 1, and then the actual fins, and them not being able to stand up, and just like there's many different quality factors that people pointed out, and it's just wasn't really preferable for the first series overall. And I do think that they kind of improved with series 2, obviously, well, not really series 2, but the Winter Wave series, with the hair. And to me at least, I think they also included stands and more accessories, so they just had more going on. They felt more established, but then even then collectors didn't really, you know, they didn't really lean towards the dolls, because while I do love the Winter Globe effect, most collectors, most kids, I guess, did not really gravitate towards that gimmick, and they really would have preferred just the tails to be articulated and just to have more clothing pieces perhaps. And you know, like, so it really, there's also a different mixture of like what people want out of a mermaid doll, which is where we get into Mermaid High. Like Mermaid High does actually have the removable tails, and weirdly enough, they also had an animated series, like 1 season, I believe. They both had 1 season. Both doll lines had 1 season, and then Mermaid High also had 2 series. They had series 1, and then they had the Spring Break series. So really ironic how both doll lines had very similar patterns in, you know, release and series strategy and branding, and they both didn't do well. And it's interesting because Mermaid High again had the removable fins. They had full-on fashion outfits, actual textile fins, tails that were actual fabric, and Mermaze Mermaidz did not. And you would think that perhaps one of the two concepts would have done better than the other, but it turns out none of the two actually came out as the winner in the end. They both became canceled by the end. So it really is fascinating how there's a very vast audience of mermaid doll fans, and I feel like there's two groups of fans that want specific things out of mermaid dolls. Like one group wants the fabric fins, the tails to be removable, fashion outfits. Like they want the 2-in-1 play with the land doll version and then the mermaid version, which Mermaid High had. And then there's another group, like with Mermaze Mermaidz, where they don't mind if it's just a mermaid doll with no removable fashion, fabric tail, but then at least they need articulation with the knee portion, and then they should have better quality hair to compensate for the lack of the removable fabric tail. So there's different varieties of like what people want in mermaid dolls. So I feel like even though these two doll lines that had offered two different types of mermaid dolls, you would think one of them would have done better, but it's weird how both of them just did not come out on top. And so to me, that reads as, well, is there an unspoken curse going on with mermaid dolls? Perhaps this is not doing well because mermaid dolls are a very specific type of doll that caters towards a very specific type of collector and child. I don't know, there's many different factors, and I guess we won't find out until maybe Mermaze Mermaidz will get renewed, the trademark. Maybe something will happen. Maybe Mermaid High will spawn a different type of future mermaid fashion doll line that will encapsulate the best of both worlds of Mermaze Mermaidz and Mermaid High, because I do think both doll lines had potential, but again, it's just they didn't work out, which is really, I don't know, it's just very curious, very, very curious indeed how two companies, two doll lines, two concepts, two play gimmicks, and two ways of playing with the doll, and both of them had a very similar journey in how they declined and just didn't go anywhere. And that was the video. Let me know what you think of Mermaid High, Mermaze Mermaidz, and what do you think makes these mermaid fashion doll lines not quite connect with consumers and audiences? What do you think is the problem here, and why do you think they didn't do well in the end? And what would you like to see in a mermaid fashion doll? Let me know down below. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and become a member today so you don't miss out when I post more content like this coming your way daily and keeping you up to date with all the doll tea you love. Stay safe, be kind. I hope this next time. Stay peachy. Kisses.